Welcome to today's practice. I'm Hannah, it's lovely to see you. We're going to be opening up your chest area today, working into the shoulders, and we're also going to work into the hips as well. So if you'd like to get yourself into something comfortable that you can move with ease, and I'll see you on the mat. We're going to start by arriving on our mat today in a kneeling position. Now if you have any knee injuries or any ailments throughout the knee there, you may want to get some props to hand. You can place a cushion underneath your knees there, just between the thigh and the lower leg, to give you some support and to take some pressure off the kneecap. You can also take some blocks. Today I'm actually going to use 2 blocks, and I'm just going to prop myself up here. Again, that just gives us a little bit of space, takes some pressure off the hips, and for me I find that a lot more comfortable. It also means that our spine is a lot straighter because it helps give us that anterior hip tilt that we're always looking for. So let's start today's class with a little bit of arrival. So if you can flutter your eyelids closed if you feel good to do so. You can leave your eyes open as an option here too. And just taking a moment to find the rhythm of your breath. Your hands can be placed on your knees or just gently in your lap. Noticing the rhythm but not trying to change it in any way. And let's just settle into this session today with the intention of opening our body. We're focusing on how we feel and breathing the energy into our body for it to fuel the lungs, the heart, and to give us that good vibe today. Beautiful job. Keeping with the equal breath, noticing the sensation as it comes through the chest and out through the chest into the stomach. Take a big inhalation at this point and exhalation. Gently opening your eyes and placing your left arm onto your mat, extending down. The fingertips can be placed onto the mat or the hand itself being pushed into the ground beneath you. Drawing up that right arm, coming all the way over, taking it as far as it feels good to do so. The intention here is to get length throughout that body, right the way from your hip through to the fingertips. Find an inhalation here, and with the exhalation, option to push a little bit further or stay in this very position. Inhale and exhale as you draw the arm gently back down. Placing that hand onto the mat. Inhale, pulling up the left arm, pushing it towards the ceiling, and again just coming over to feel that stretch. Pushing the fingertips. Finding your inhalation, and with the exhalation, option to come further into that stretch there. Good. Inhale, exhale as you sweep back down. One more each side now. Hand onto the mat, extending that arm, finding the length throughout the body, pushing over. Chance to explore our body today and feeling the sensation in every pose and every movement that we do. Coming back down, great job. Last one here, up, extend through the crown, coming over and push the fingertips over the head. And coming back down into neutral. Pushing through the crown of the head to find the length through the spine, rolling the shoulders up to the ears and away down the back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. As we inhale, we bring the shoulders up. Exhale, we roll them down. Inhale and exhale. Great job, well done. And again, up, round and down. And the opposite direction now, squeezing together, lifting up to the ears, dropping down to create the space. Beautiful, keep it going. And down. Good, 2 more here. Releasing any tension in the upper back, starting to warm the shoulders. Fantastic. Bring them up to the ears and drop them down when you're ready. Good. Now today we're going to be using a yoga strap, or if you have a dressing gown belt or a trouser belt, you could also use that. What is also an option here is for you to use an exercise band. If you've got a resistance band, you're very welcome to use this too. So I'd like you to take whichever kind of band or strap that you're going to use. Now when we extend our arms, we want to have them a little bit further away than shoulder width apart at this point. And just check how much space you've got. Now you can do this in a seated position without your blocks or cushion underneath you. You can also do this standing, but the joy of sitting on the blocks is it just gives you a bit more space to lengthen the spine and push the chest out. Okay, so see what works for you, see what's comfortable. So we want to avoid having this too wide, otherwise it just becomes impossible to get it over your head. So grabbing your strap just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, taking hold, extending the arms out in front of you. We're going to inhale as we rise up, coming over the head here. Exhale as you gently bring them back. Now you might find, as you can see, that your strap is extended here, and that's okay for your first one, just to find the length that you need. Coming gently down, pushing the heart out, pushing that chest out. We're going to take an inhalation as we rise back up, sweeping nice and slowly in a controlled way. Coming down. Good, shoulder level. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Getting right into that rotator cuff today, opening the chest. Good, great stuff. This is a really good one to do in the morning as well, just to get you moving. Now, if you do have any sensitivity for your shoulder, it can be strong. So I'm going to show you an option here if this works for you. So keep going if you're happy with the strap that you've got. An option here is to place your hands onto your shoulders and roll them round this way. Okay, so with the hands staying still on top of the shoulders, feeling the roll of that joint come through underneath your hand. Okay, so this is a good option. As you come up, come back and push your chest forward so that you're getting a beautiful stretch through that upper chest. Great job, well done. Good. Removing the strap, removing your blocks, just putting them safely to one side out of your way. We're going to come down onto the mat into our all fours. Okay, onto our all fours. Couple of cat-cows here to start the day, and I'm going to actually show you a variation of this cat-cow using our blocks today, and then you can see what works for you. So if we have the blocks out in front of us, the fingers this time don't spread apart, we keep them together. You can put your pinky over the side, it gives a bit more stability. The knees are underneath the hips and the shoulders are over the top of our wrists. Now, as we find our inhalation, we're going to dip the lower back towards the ground, pushing the sit bones up to the ceiling, looking straight ahead here. And exhale, tucking the pelvis under. The chin comes into the chest, looking towards your navel. And again, inhale and exhale. Now, if you have a tight spine, you can really play around with this and see what is going to feel good for you. You don't want to dip too far because you don't want to create too much stress through the spine, but you do want to find that sweet spot of getting the vertebrae moving, getting them warmed up, and getting some movement through to ease any aches and pains today. Good. Coming back into a neutral position, our gaze is between the blocks. Now, if at this point you've tried your blocks or books and this isn't working for you, then you can just remove them, okay? Now we're going to tuck our toes under, pushing the sit bones to the ceiling, extending the legs here and the arms, finding the length through the spine, pushing the heels down to the ground. Option here to bend the knees. Pushing the hands forwards on your blocks, it just gives you a bit more space to be able to get the length of that spine into place. In our downward facing dog, feeling the sensations of what's happening here in the body. Finding the inhalation, we're going to gently walk forwards to the top of your mat, coming into our first deep forward fold. Option to change the position of your blocks. You can even use one block or you could use the two. Option to bend the knees here to get that lengthened spine into position. Good. Just taking a moment to feel what the body's doing here. Feeling the engagement through the backs of the legs. And we're going to turn the blocks, if you're using them, to a height, so with a little bit of height through them. And we're going to come into Warrior 3. Okay, so with this, our hips are over the top of our knees, the knees are over the ankles, and we're going to push down, grounding ourselves through the right foot. Okay, so find the position, ground yourself down, take a moment to feel what's going on within the body. And once you've got that, we're going to elevate the leg, the left leg away, coming into a lengthened position. So coming up as far as you can. Now, if that means it's here, absolutely perfect. If you can come all the way up, then that is perfect. It isn't about what the pose looks like. It's about feeling the sensation. It doesn't matter if you can't remove your blocks from here. Pointing the toe of that elevated leg downwards, keeping those hip bones toned down as well, turned down so that you're square to the mat with your hips. Drawing the navel in to support the lower back. Now, as you can see, because of my fibromyalgia suffering, my body just doesn't want to do any more than this today. And that is absolutely fine. That's the beauty of yoga. We work with the body that presents itself on the day. It doesn't have to look perfect. We don't have to be perfect. So we always level up the right and the left side. So grounding down through that foot that you've just elevated. We're going to come up onto the opposite side. You can always try just using the one block as well if you'd like to experiment with that. So pulling the navel into the spine, stacking the hips over the knees over the ankles. Finding the inhalation and exhale to bring that leg up. Pushing the hands through the blocks. Finding some stability. Great job. Toes facing down to the mat of that elevated leg. Just turn the hips so that the hip bones are facing down to the mat, so you're square to the mat. Okay. And feeling what's happening on this side. It may be very different to the opposite one. Finding your inhalation here. Exhale, draw the leg back down, grounding it into your mat. Beautiful job. Let's enjoy a half forward fold in this position, removing one of the blocks if you have it, placing it in front of you, pushing down all four corners of the feet, keeping the legs in the same position, raising the upper body so that you've got some length from the crown of the head right the way through to the sit bones. Finding the inhalation and enjoy that exhalation. Good. Beautiful. We can also remove the block, hands onto the thighs or onto the shins. Finding our inhalation as we bend the knees gently, sweeping up the arms, extending all the way through to standing, tilting the pelvis so that it tucks underneath, our tailbone is tucked underneath, drawing up through the legs, through the knees, engaging your glutes to squeeze them in together, coming into our mountain pose, pushing the shoulders away from the ears to create some space. Taking a moment to feel the body, to bring our awareness to the breath. Now we're going to come into a chair pose. So we're going to gently bend the knees. The knees are going to stack over our ankles, and we're going to push the sit bones down as if you were going to sit in a chair. Now, if stability is a little bit off here, please don't worry, use a prop. You can have a chair in front of you. You can also use a wall to hang onto, okay? And then we're going to gently push that seat back. Now, option here to keep the hands on the hips. Feeling that, seeing how that feels. Option here to elevate the arms, framing the ears with your biceps and looking ahead just to the front of the mat so you've got a nice length from the crown of the head down to the sit bones once again. Good, find an inhalation. With the exhalation, we're going to sweep forwards, placing our hands next to our feet to frame the feet. Taking one foot back, dropping the knee, and then just making sure that our knee is stacked over this front bent leg. On the back leg that's got the knee on the mat here, push through the top of the foot to engage all the way through that lower leg. Our hand frames the front foot, or use a block here just to prop you up. I actually quite like the blocks and support here because you tend to get more length through the spine, and then you can get a nicer stretch through the hip. But it all depends on whether you can get that with your fingertips on the mat as well. So, we're going to push through the hips, making sure that our hip bones are facing forwards. Push the knee onto the front foot, but make sure it doesn't overshoot the ankle. And you will probably be feeling at this stage a nice stretch through that opening hip. Beautiful. Enjoying the length through the spine. And feeling that stretch right into the hip area. Now with the blocks or without, we're going to push ourselves back as if we were coming to sit down. Extend the front leg, bring the toes of the front leg so they're pointing up to the ceiling. I tend to bring the blocks back here, and I'll show you without as well. And just sit back but keep elevated. So you're not going to sit right back down on your mat. You're going to push down and feel the engagement through the calf right into those hamstrings there. So option here to remove your blocks, coming back and doing the same thing with the fingers pointing forwards to the top of your mat. Inhale here, exhale, bring yourself forward. Coming up onto the toes of your back leg, pushing yourself up, and just gently come up in the most elegant way possible, as you can tell, and change over the legs. Always a right and a left and a right. We always even up each side. So finding the position here of our low lunge. So knee over the ankle, blocks or no blocks as an option. The hips face forwards, pushing through the top of that foot at the back flat on the mat, and then bringing yourself forward to get the stretch through your hips. That hip there, hip flexor is getting a beautiful stretch here. Definitely worth doing when you've got some lower back and hip concerns and aches and pains. Finding the length through the crown, pushing the chest forwards. Good, great job. Finding your inhalation and your exhalation with equal breath. Inhale here, exhale, pushing yourself backwards, extending the front leg, tilting the toes up to the ceiling and bringing the hands back with or without the block. And again, just feel that stretch. You want some engagement right the way through the back of the leg here. Now, option to keep a nice neutral spine with the length, or coming down and pushing the crown towards the toes. That can intensify it, so see what works for you. Last inhalation here. As you exhale, bring your leg back, coming onto your knees, and take some water if you'd like some. So we're going to come gently onto our mats now in a seated position. If you have a yoga strap, we're going to go into boat pose, and we're going to use the strap to help us. Now, you can either use the strap, which you'll need to create a loop, so feed it through the buckle and pull it tight, and I'll guide you through the size that that loop should be. You can use a resistance band if you've got one of those, tie a knot in it in the same way, and I'll demonstrate to you how we can use that for an option here today. So I've created my loop already. I'm going to place it over my head and tuck it under the arms. Okay. Now, before you loop your strap, what you can do instead is feed it under the legs. Doesn't matter if it drops down at this point for a moment. Re-feed it through your buckle, like so. And it's going to come just underneath your knees here. So we place it underneath the arms, and we want to pull it tight so that it's going to be a support to us in our boat pose. Okay, so I generally come up into this position here and pull the strap. So if you pull it round so that the strap is out of your way, I don't want you to find that that's in your way, and bring it to the side of you, and then you can pull it so that it's nice and tight like this. Okay, so this is where you want to be able to get to, under the arms and under the knees, with it nice and tight and firm, and feel it supporting you. The same thing can be done with your resistance band, so wrapping it around under your arms, bring it under your knees, and then tie a bow at the side, just tie a knot at the side so that you can have some control over the tightness there. Okay. So we're going to push down through our sit bones. So get yourself nice and comfortable and have a wiggle. Okay. Engage the belly button to the spine, so put it in, engaging your core here. Okay. Hands are flat on the mat beside you as an option, or you can come up with your hands on your knees. It depends what you feel good to do. So here we're going to push ourselves up to lean back. Our legs are going to come into a 90-degree bend. We've got our strap here, so just bring it up under the arms a little bit more, and then you can really lean into the strap. You might have to hold it if yours slips, and that's okay. Okay. Engaging through that belly button still, pulling it in, getting some length through the spine. Good, really working on that core strength. Beautiful, legs together, squeezing the knees in. Finding your inhalation and your exhalation. Now if this is strong, come down, okay? Take a breath and then come back up again. Practice in a way that is good for you. We're just noticing the sensations within our body. And also it's really great to do to find the point that you're at now, and as you practice, the point that you then get to with time as well. And be patient with yourself, okay? That is a beautiful one to do, but it can be a bit strong when you're starting out. Good, okay, so relieving or releasing that strap, putting it to one side, and we're going to turn around so that we're facing the long edge of our mat. Good. Coming into a seated position, bring one leg so that the heel is touching the thigh of the opposite leg, drawing that front leg in so that your foot is flat onto your shin. And this is our easy pose, but again, finding a position that best suits you. You can lean against a wall and you can sit on our block. Don't forget to get that anterior hip tilt. Good. So this has been a beautiful session today, a really beautiful session to do, and I'd like to just finish it off with a moment of meditation. So I'd like you to get yourself comfortable, flutter your eyes closed, finding the rhythmic breath that is flowing through your body. Feeling grateful for the body and the practice that it has given us today. Enjoying the rhythm of the focusing of our mind to our breath. Bringing our mind back to our breath work if it starts to wander. Not judging any thoughts, letting them go. And just accept them for what they are, passing thoughts. I'm going to offer you some affirmations here for you to take into your day. I am grateful for the practice that my body has allowed me to take part in today. I am at peace with the person that I am in this very moment. I accept who I am. I am strong. I am able. And I am loved. And I'd invite you to bring your hands together, palms touching. Bringing the hands into our heart center. As you find your inhalation, push the arms up to extend over the head, looking up to the fingertips, and as you exhale, draw them back down to the chest. It's been a privilege to guide you through this practice today. Namaste. Thank you.